for those of us that are just joining us back, because this is where you wanted to come see you, wanted to see the Washington Commanders rebuild, welcome. You missed B's fantastic breakdown of Frankie Lavu, the linebacker from the Panthers. Also, if you are subscribed to us, please go to your homepage, screenshot you being subscribed to us, and email it to us. The email will be in the description, but that will enter you into the contest to win a free jersey from the NFL shop website that we will be giving away to one lucky subscriber as a thank you for subscribing to us. And with that, let's get right into this, B. We're going to start off with our Washington Commanders rebuild segment. So,
hell yeah,
we got this. So we did start this really with the Carolina Panthers rebuild. So the rules that we're kind of establishing for this for ourselves, even if the hires didn't work out that way as we kind of had it written down, we are still going to try to stick to it, see if we can't build this out like a real offseason. So I preface that because our head coach isn't Ben Johnson, but we do know Ben Johnson is the favorite for the position right now. So please don't come scream at us. We're prefacing it. So we already gave Ben Johnson to the Panthers because that was before it was announced that Ben Johnson was pretty much a lock for the Commanders. So with that said, let's start with the hires. Obviously, Adam Peters is going to be the new GM. That already happened at the time of us making this, so I'm not going to rewrite current day right now. I do believe that's a great hire for them. He's coming over from San Francisco where he played a pivotal role in rebuilding that roster from 2017 on. He was key in drafting George Kittle and Fred Warner, Jair Brown, a lot of the fifth, third, fourth round stars they have there. He played a huge part in drafting. So that's a great pickup for Washington. For head coach, I'm going with Ben Slowick because they do have that connection from being San Francisco. Ben Slowick was the offense coordinator from Houston. He was the passing game coordinator with San Francisco, so he comes from that same Shanahan system. He also is very familiar with working with number 2 overall quarterbacks with big arms. So just as a little tease there about what's coming up in the next little couple minutes here. And he actually started his career off in Washington as a video assistant. So it's kind of a little bit of a coming home for him to where he actually started off his NFL coaching.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Young Bob out there just re-recording stuff. That's cool. That's cool.
The offense coordinator, I'm going with Ben McDaniels. He's the current wide receiver coach and offensive passing game coordinator for Houston. So he'll be following Bobby Slowick over to Washington. Just kind of someone who's a little familiar with the system, can help build up that pass game in Washington. And for defensive coordinator, I'm taking Chris Hewitt, who has been the Ravens secondary coach since 2015, and he's developed a lot of talent there. You can think Marlon Humphrey. You can think Kyle Hamilton, for example, a couple of guys that he's worked with. He currently is also their passing game coordinator, so he's out there specifically trying to help Mike McDonald stop its opposing teams' passing games. So, I think that'd be a great opportunity for him. He's kind of been in the rotation for potential DC opportunities, so I think it'd be great for him to finally get this opportunity in Washington. And knowing Washington's back end is what needs a lot of work, he should be able to step in and help like Emmanuel Forbes get his career back on track.
That makes sense.
And then for quarterback, we'll go with the draft pick. I was going to say for quarterback, we'll go with the draft pick. So
that makes sense. I had I have a couple questions for you. Okay. I kind of want to throw this out there, mostly because I kind of feel bad for him. And I think he's been trying to get a head coaching job for like 4 or 5 years, and it's just not working out for whatever reason. Eric Bieniemy, what do you think about him? He's already in house there. He's there. He's been around the game longer than a Bobby Slowick or a Ben Johnson. He also has experience coaching younger quarterbacks too. Like, do you think that's a viable shot for Eric? Like, I know they kind of talked to him and they actually officially interviewed him too. And they kind of said it wasn't just because of like a courtesy or a respect thing, but they actually had some sort of like interest in him. Do you think that could be a solid choice?
Oh, that's a good question. It's a really, really good question. I did not look up Washington's offensive numbers from the season prior. I would probably go with no because, I mean, again, from what I did kind of glimpse throughout the season, checking with Washington, their offense was never really in the best situation, and that can be argued lack of talent, lack of quarterback play, whatever you would like to argue about that. I do think he's a great, innovative play caller. I think he comes with some really unique, cool designs, especially for red zone. I believe Washington. I did look this up. Washington was, I think, top 3 in red zone percentage. Like, so once they get to the red zone, they convert those opportunities into touchdowns at the 3rd highest rate in the NFL, and I think that's definitely a testament to his creativity as an offensive play caller, and definitely shows that he should have gained more respect for his uh, creativity in Kansas City. And I do think he should get another opportunity somewhere to be an OC with another team. I just don't think he showed enough there to make me warrant wanting to give him a head coaching opportunity, especially in Washington. I think it's just one of those things where you kind of just want a fresh restart. Even with Sam Howell, he did have a hot start to the season. He definitely fell off on the back half of the year. I don't know if that's because the enemy checked out, or I don't know exactly why he fell off, but he all of a sudden did fall off and start looking atrocious. I think he got benched at one point for I think it was Jacoby Brissett.
Jacoby. Yep.
So, it tells me he's not doing enough to help Sam Howell develop into at least not getting benched. So I'm not sure that's the kind of situation I want to put my, brand new number 2 overall quarterback. I'd rather take the guy that just literally worked with the number 2 overall quarterback, who has a lot of similar characteristics to Drake May, and put him in that situation to work with him. Or I'd take another young offensive mind that's up and coming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's probably why I want to go with Eric Bieniemy, but he does deserve another OC opportunity. In fact, a great one. I would love to see him go work with Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia. I think that'd be a fantastic opportunity.
Oh yeah, that would be a great fit. I didn't think about that. No, that'd be a great fit for him. Yeah, no, that'd be great. Damn, yeah. One last question is like the staff stuff. So I'm gonna throw a name out there for DC, and you might cringe. Okay. That people might cringe at this name because it's not a very popular name, but I think he can give some value to that staff. What do you think about Mike Zimmer, former Vikings head coach, as DC? I don't think he has a job right now, but my logic is, right, so he's a defensive mind. They are probably going to bring in a younger OC to be head coach. It might be of some value to bring more of a senior guy on that staff, maybe make him like some sort of like assistant head coach, help with the day-to-day things with the team, and also just let them just like handle the defense. Like, he's been there before, he's done it for a long time. Just kind of go do your own thing with that defense. I'm gonna handle the offense. I can rely on you for your input with like the team because you've done this before. You've done my job before. So how much did you want to throw up when I brought out Zimmer's name?
I didn't want to throw up. I don't have a problem with Mike Zimmer. He was a good coach for the Vikings while he was there. He's a solid defensive mind. I probably wouldn't go that route in this situation, because I feel like it's one of those situations where, Bobby Slowick is young. He only had one season as a offensive play caller even. So my concern with that, and as maybe made up of a concern as this might be, because I do not know these people, but my concern would be there might be a almost too leaning on Mike Zimmer, almost like you're giving up too much of the reins. Almost like, Mike, you just do it because you've done this before, you know how to do it. And you kind of want this new guy to come in and find his own voice. You want him to be his own person, be his own coach, be his own leader. And you don't want that to be potentially overshadowed by this guy who has done it before, who has had success. And, all of a sudden now it's like, well, why would we listen to Coach Zimmer's right here? I'm just going to go ask Coach Zimmer about it. You kind of don't want that kind of a situation. So I think I'd rather just let Bobby come in and be his own person and take over that kind of a role. But that's just my
fair.
thoughts.
That's
Again,
fair.
I don't know these people. That may not be what that dynamic would actually play out as. So, but
I got you.
those
No,
are
I think that's like
those,
a good point. Yeah.
and those are really good questions, B. Really, really good questions. Thank you for that. You have any more before we move on to transactions?
No, that's it.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So for transactions, we're starting off with Washington at $84 million in cap space. Our biggest needs for this offseason, we need to come away with a new quarterback. We need to come away with some new tackles, some new edge. I need some linebackers. I need a tight end. The big one we're going to start off with restructures and releases. And I did promise, if you guys follow us on Twitter, I did promise a big trade in this segment here. So we will get to that in just a second. So I'm going to restructure Terry McLaurin, Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen, Andrew Wiley, and Nick Gates. In those restructures, which again, I'm not releasing any of them, I'm just restructuring the contracts, that's going to get me up to $113.4 million. So what, a $30 million increase that I just generated, which should put us at the top, or at least in the top 3 of cap space for this offseason. This is going to allow us to make any moves we want. We're not going to get outbid for any player we want. This is our time. So the big trade that I'm going to do for Washington involves a disgruntled receiver who just got knocked out of the playoffs, maybe looking for a fresh start somewhere else. I'm not sure how much he wants to be moved, but I'm not sure the team that has him right now really wants to stay with him. With that in mind, I am trading Stefon Diggs from the Buffalo Bills to the Washington Commanders. In return, Buffalo is getting a 2025 first-round pick, Jahan Dotson, and a 2024 fifth-round pick. Now, that may seem like a steep price. You're trading Jahan Dotson. You're trading him first next year. If you're a Bills fan, you're thinking, why first next year? I want this year's first. Stefon Diggs is not worth the number 2 overall pick. He's 30. In his initial trade, he wasn't even traded for a top 10 pick. It was traded for, I believe it was first that year, which is in like the mid-20s, a third and a fifth. So this is fair compensation for Stefon Diggs. It gives the Bills an opportunity to have a young, potentially up-and-coming receiver. I know he did struggle this season, but he could get back on track next year. If not, you still have a second first that you can use to draft another receiver replacement. It also frees up a bunch of cap space for the Bills. I think it frees up about 14 more million cap space. You can re-sign Gabe Davis. You can use that to go out and improve the O-line, or maybe pick up a different receiver you might like to add some depth to that room, or maybe, something on the defense might help. But that's the big trade I'm making for that. Stefon Diggs is now a Washington Commander. Jahan Dotson, a first and a fifth, are going back to Buffalo for them to use. But yeah, I'm just kind of curious to get your thoughts on that one real quick.
Dude, I don't want to speak for Washington fans, but the idea of having Diggs should get you pumped up. I mean, I know there's, that's an awesome deal right there. And all you guys might be saying, well, we have to give up two picks and a player for him, but I mean, I think they understand. But let me just hit that point home. When you're drafting a younger quarterback, right, a rookie, you need that bona fide wide receiver 1 option. Now, McLaurin, I don't want to put any shade on him. Scary Terry is scary. He is that dude. He is a beast, right? But I think we can all say Diggs might be another tier higher, right? So just imagine that offense. Imagine that passing game with Diggs and Scary Terry right there. Jeez, man. And then you did a great job of flipping $84 million in cap space to 113th. I mean, now you have 2 studs out there in offense. You have a stud rookie quarterback. You have a lot of money go after in the market. Well, I guess the market would happen kind of before the draft it'll start, but whatever. You guys get my point here.
We'll get to the market in a second. Don't worry.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get that point in a second. But that would be one nice looking offense.
I I'm kind of curious. So give me just your quick thoughts. If you're a Bills fan watching this because you saw the thumbnail, you saw Stefon Diggs on here, and you're like, what the fuck do you mean Stefon Diggs? And you're like, what's going on? How are you feeling as a Bills fan right now?
I would be a little bit conflicted. Um, Before the season, there were like somewhat Twitter rumors of Diggs being traded, and Bills fans be like, "Oh, you're stupid. Diggs is not getting traded. He's our guy. This and that. You're dumb for even thinking that, right?" And now I've seen the narrative change on him a little bit throughout the season, right? Like there was some weird chemistry, or I don't know if actually was like he was unhappy with the team, right? But some weird stuff came out during like the season, him not getting along with staff or Josh Allen, and then of course now he's a little bit disgruntled, which you already mentioned before this section. Um, so as a Bills fan though, I would be like, yeah, I still want to keep him, right? When you have like a wide receiver one, you don't want to really let go of that guy. I mean, unless you know for sure who you have coming up or who you're going to go target, that gap will still hurt, right? That gap on that team was still hurt. So I would be a little bit hurt or sad if I was a Bills fan and Diggs got traded, but that's the business.
Yeah, and you are getting Jahan Dotson back, who was the Penn State, I think it was a first-round pick or second-round pick for Washington 2 years ago, who had a solid rookie year. He did, again, fall back a little bit this year, but he is a young, up-and-coming, exciting player that should pair well with what Josh Allen likes to do, which is hug the pigskin deep. So I'm sure those Commanders fans that aren't too enthused about having to let him go either. But, that's kind of, unfortunately, kind of the way the business works. You got to give something to get something. Again, you still have it 2025, first round pick. You could then flip that with your current first round, maybe even move up and get Romeo Dunze, or you flip it and get Malik Neighbors. So there's still some stuff you can do with it to try to still get another new wide receiver one in this situation that comes in cheaper with maybe less baggage. So don't fret too much, Bills fans. Your future is still bright there. And there's options to what you can do with this pick. Moving on to free agency, I'm going to start with the obvious stuff, the less exciting stuff. I'm still captain at 13.4. I know Diggs comes in, is going to be a little bit more. I factor that into the free agency portion of the salary cap. So re-signs him immediately, bringing back wide receiver Curtis Samuel. He had a solid year, or I guess solid couple years in Washington. I'm bringing him back in for a 3-year, $36 million deal. About $12 million a year. So that gives us our slot receiver, our wide receiver 3. So now we have Scary Terry on one side, Stefon Diggs on the other. We got Curtis Samuel in the slot. Hard to kind of pass up on that offense. I'm also bringing back Cameron
that's a three-headed monster.
Mm-hmm. I'm also bringing back Cameron Curl, the safety, who's a 7th-round pick for Washington. Completely unrated dude. That's another guy he'll probably be next week's spotlight, will be Cameron Curl. I'm bringing back on a 4-year, $62 million deal, getting the man the money he deserves. He's a top safety in the game, and hopefully with this new deal, he'll start getting that actual recognition. And we had a little bit of a uncertain feelings about this one, but we ended up bringing back Kendall Fuller, a 3-year, $45 million deal. I know he's 28. He had a kind of an up and down season from what we could find and see. I'm bringing it back with the idea that I want him to be corner 2. I want our alpha corner, our number 1 lockdown corner, and I want him to be on the opposite side. I think he's a solid number 2 still, a really good number 2 even. I think he's a low grade number 1. He's not usually the guy you want covering your Stefon Diggs, your Justin Jeffersons. He's the guy you'd rather have him covering Jordan Addison. So I'm going to bring him back because we need something there, and he's one of the better guys on the market right now that's still in a decent price range. So for my free agent signings, I'm bringing it from the outside. I'm stealing Dalton Schultz, the tight end from Houston. He's coming over with Bobby Slowick too. I'm getting him for 3 years, $39 million. I think he's 27, 28. He's been a solid receiving option in Dallas and now in Houston. So that should upgrade our passing attack even more in Washington. Left tackle, I'm bringing in Jonah Williams on a 2-year, $30 million deal. So he's kind of coming in cheap considering for a tackle. And the reason for that is because he switched to right tackle for the Bengals this past season, which is not his natural position. but they did sign Orlando Brown. So there's kind of those things where it had to happen. And he did not do well. He struggled. I think he ended up even getting hurt a little bit, but I think it was like PFF had him like a 56 grade. So I'm bringing him back in. I'm getting him for cheap on a 2-year $30 million deal, $15 million a year. I'm switching him back to his natural position of left tackle and seeing if he can't rebound. If not, I can cut bait, move on. But at least I have someone there who's a little bit more of a known commodity. For linebackers, I'm bringing in Josie Jewell, who's from Denver, who's a guy I know they hate to be losing, but due to casualties, he might end up being one. Great receiving or coverage linebacker. And again, another underrated guy that just needs to get more recognition. But because he is an underrated linebacker, you're getting him up for a sweet deal, 2-year, $15 million deal. He should bring an immediate upgrade at the position. He's a little bit older. I think he's 29. So he brings some veteran leadership to the position. I'm also going to pair him with Aziz Al-Shaair, the former 49er linebacker who went to the Tennessee this past season. Aziz is good as a run stuffer. He kind of lacks a little bit in the pass coverage area, but if you can bring him on a blitz every occasionally, he's going to make you money. So I'm bringing him in on a 3-year, $20 million deal. So, B, what are your thoughts on that section?
No, I love that. I think the re-signs make sense. I think the signings make sense too. Just going back to the corner spot, Washington fans. I mean, of course, you guys might think different than me, which you guys should. You guys know more about your team than I do. But I think that the corner one spot is going to be, I think, a focus for you all for this offseason. Like, I know you guys have Forbes. He's a high draft pick last year, and he kind of went through his rookie lumps over this past season, which is normal. And to your point, E, like you made a great point. Kendall Fuller's more of like a cornerback 2 right now at this point of his career, and I know you guys might be already be typing, 3 years, $45 million, too much money. He can walk for that price. Okay, maybe the front office try and get some hometown discount on him, maybe a 2-year deal worth like 25 or 20 or something like that, something like cheaper, right? But I think that cornerback spot is going to be a bigger. It has to be a high priority for this offseason. Now, I don't know if they address it the way we do here, but I know that they have to address that somewhere. And a little bit of a teaser, we do give a little bit of help in the draft, but I do want to lead off with that point. I also love the linebacker signings. Jewell is nice. I know he's a very like underrated guy. He really is. He plays hard. He's fast. He's pretty good in coverage. But he plays good ball for the Broncos. Jonah Williams makes sense. He struggled at right tackle, moving back to left tackle, get him for about $15 million a year. That's nice in that market. Dalton Schultz, I think, will be solid. I don't know if he's like the franchise tight end for them, but for a 3-year deal, it's good. It's good. So I think the signings make sense. And again, this is all pointing towards the offense as being like just bolstered up, man. That offense will be scary, right? With Schultz, Curtis Samuel, Scary Terry, Diggs. I don't want to give away the quarterback pick, but with a nice rookie quarterback, dude, that offense will be solid. So, dude, great work with the signings, dude. This is looking awesome. This is looking great for sure.
Yeah, and so with all that, we do still have $25 million in cap space. We're not going to use all our money. We still have to pay about $10 million in draft picks. So then we'll roll over that remainder and have a little bit for in season, needs as they come up. We need to sign a linebacker because someone got hurt, kind of thing. So moving on to the draft, we do have, I believe it's 7 picks in this draft. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. About 9 picks.
No,
actually.
wait, 9. Yep. So
our biggest needs still are quarterback, edge, and interior offensive line, all areas we weren't able to address in free agency. So without further ado, the first round pick, number 2 overall, we are drafting J.J. McCarthy out of Michigan. No, I'm still kidding. I know someone just shit themselves when they heard that. We are going to go with Drake May. We're going to go with Drake May out of UNC, big arm quarterback. Josh Allen 2.0, which should pair well with Stefon Diggs, who just got done playing with Josh Allen. Bobby Slovic, it should be a great pairing because he just worked with CJ Stroud, who has a lot of similarities. Two Drake May, big arm quarterbacks that love to just huck it all over the yard. He should really help set the offense easier for Drake. A lot of motions I'm expecting, a lot of bunch formation, so you can easily identify what the defense is trying to do or this man or zone. So I think that'd be a fantastic pairing for Drake. In our Drake May breakdown, that's kind of situation we specifically said he needed to go to a situation that had a great offensive-minded head coach or coordinator and had to go to a team with a lot of weapons. So this is the perfect pairing for him. Second round pick, number 36, we're going with quarterback Quinion Mitchell of Toledo. Smaller name kind of guy, but I think he's getting a lot more draft buzz. I'm not sure he's actually going to be available in this slot. Hopefully he is. There's a lot of good QB talent in this draft, so hopefully it kind of pushes him down the board a little bit. He gave up an average passer rating of 54.7 in all of college. An average passer rating of almost 55. I mean, that's just unreal numbers. He also had 5 picks in 2022. So just an absolute stud, ball hawk kind of corner. He should pair well with Hewitt, who should also revive, hopefully, Emmanuel Forbes' career as well. That gives you a brand new corner 1, corner 2, and you still have Kendall Fuller in there to spell them as he needs to if they start to struggle. With our other second-round pick, number 40, I wanted to bring in a little bit more help at the linebacker position, so I drafted Jeremiah Trotter Jr. out of Clemson. It's a slight reach, but I love the upside that he brings, and he should be able to learn a lot from Josie Jewell. You can then let Jewell walk in 2 years, and you have your instant new Mike replacement in Jeremiah Trotter. Third round pick number 67. I'm going guard Cooper Beebe out of K-State. Beebe. Again, a slight reach, but he is one of the best guards in the draft. And again, he's one of those guys. I do expect him as we get closer to the draft to start creeping up draft boards. So he's probably not going to go where he's slotted, which I think is like 80s, 70s right now. So you're probably going to have to reach a little bit for him. Next, third round pick. I'm going to make another trade here. I'm going to trade with whatever team in the 80s will trade with me. I need to go with a specific team here. I'm setting our third round pick number 100, and our fourth round pick number 102, to let's just call it pick 81. And I'm drafting edge Gabriel Murphy out of UCLA. The dude had 105 hurries over his last 3 years, with 43 hurries coming last season. For those that don't know, quarterback hurries in college usually translate really, really well to the NFL. It means you're getting to the quarterback. You have good pass rush moves. You have a great motor. You're getting after the guy. So if I'm taking a guy that has 105 hurries over the last 3 years and 43 over the last season, I think that's one of the top in all of the draft prospects, actually. I expect him to be able to come in and produce pretty quickly. Now, again, I'm having to move up to get him. I'm having to package picks to go get him because he's one of those guys that I do think will start moving up draft boards as we get closer to the draft. But I think he's a guy that's going to be a plug-and-play, day one kind of guy for you, and you're getting him in the mid-third round pick section. Plus, sometimes having 9 picks is just too much. So after that, pick 81, we're going to fall all the way to the fifth round pick, number 137, which we actually did trade to Buffalo for Stefon Diggs. So we don't have that pick anymore either. Sixth round pick number 180. I went again with edge with Jasheen Davis out of Wake Forest. Again, he had 55 hurries and 15 sacks over the last 2 seasons. So again, another guy, he can maybe help come in as a situational pass rusher. I think he had 8 sacks last year. So he's one of those guys you're kind of hoping he becomes more of a situational guy. You're not expecting him to be an every down guy, but if you can get a little more depth and rotation there, it should help out. And with our 7th round pick, our final pick in the draft, number 219, this guy has not declared yet. I have a feeling he will, and I really, really loved watching his tape when we were watching the Drake May tape. He stuck out. I'm going with tight end Bryson Nesbitt out of UNC. They have great chemistry at UNC. He's going to be a huge red zone target, gives you just another weapon that you can utilize when you get inside that 20-yard line. Like I said, it's one of those guys that Drake May is already comfortable with, so it's going to be just a natural pairing. So that's my draft for Washington. B, what are your thoughts on that?
No, I think this is a great mock. I really love Cooper Beebe too. That guard. I know it's a reach play, but he's a guy who can play for many years. I've heard a lot of great stuff about him. Um, I love the pick too of also Drake May going second overall. Um, one question. This is kind of like speaking more to the fans of Washington. Um, what would you or what can you say? Will you say to Washington fans who might be a little bit discouraged from for taking Drake May over like a hometown kid in Caleb, right? 'Cause I have seen a lot of stuff on Twitter about that, like, oh, it'd be awesome for Caleb to play here. He grew up in the DC area, best quarterback in this class as of right now. So what will you say to those fans? Like, hey, like, I don't know if I want Drake May. I want Caleb. You know.
Well, I mean, I hate to be the guy that tells the kids Santa doesn't exist, but unfortunately, he's not gonna be there at 2. And if you guys want to go
Right.
check that out, we did a whole Bears video about Caleb Williams or Justin Fields. But from every inclination I'm seeing, every story I'm being told, the insiders are reporting this, is that the first round pick is not for sale. It seems to be that the Bears intended to take Caleb Williams. They're even touting Caleb Williams in their offensive coordinator interviews, and that's just the expectation of, they're taking, Caleb Williams. And of course, you can't directly come out and say that because, the draft needs its excitement and its hype and its mystery. So, but it's been pretty clear, it seems, from everyone else inside the building that Caleb Williams is the guy for Chicago. So, I mean, unless you're going to offer up the next 5 first round picks, and half your roster, I don't see any way that the Bears are going to trade out of that spot. So, as much as I would love to
Right.
give them, Caleb Williams, that'd be the obvious choice. I just think it's kind of one of those situations where you got to take what's going to be available there.
Yeah. I think that makes sense. And like, I just want to add to that point too. Drake May is damn good too. I mean, there's
Mm-hmm.
some people out there who say Drake May could go first, right?
Yeah.
Um, so if you're a fan of this like squad, I would not feel bad with taking Drake May. I would do it in a heartbeat if I were y'all. Because a lot of people view Caleb and Drake May as like 1A and 1B, right? And getting someone like a Bobby Slowick or Ben Johnson who can just like totally just be able to work with Drake May from day one and do the things that he does well and add weapons around him. That offense will be nice. I'm beating a drum about that, but like I don't say, at least on paper, how that offense does not do well. Like, I would expect them to be
Mm-hmm.
at least top 12 in total offense if somehow everything that we just laid out happens. I mean, that'd be one great offense. And then again, like,
Oh yeah.
the edge rush helped there, the linebacker helped here, like the depth, and we got a corner in the second round, which we already said corner is kind of like a weak spot for this team. Let's draft someone in the second round that's and invest there. I just completely love this mock draft, bro. You killed it, man, for sure.
Thanks, bro. Hopefully you guys liked it too. Let us know in the comment section what you thought. Did you like what we did? Did you like our additions? Would you agree with that kind of trade for Stefon Diggs? Go down in the comment section. Let us know what you think. And while you're down there, give us a like, a subscribe. We do this every week. We're putting out videos. These take a lot of time, but we love doing it. We love talking with you guys. So give us a like and subscribe while you're down there. If this is where we're losing it, it's been a pleasure talking to you guys, especially going over something as cool as the Washington Commanders rebuild. Until next time, it's been Emmett. It's been B. We'll see you guys.